100 people have been diagnosed with acute flaccid myalitis, or AFM, just this year. It's a polio-like disease that affects mostly children.
Yeah, it's mysterious, right? It's kind of baffling doctors around the country right now. Turns out a little boy right here in the valley has been fighting this for months. We want to get out to Kim Powell. You visited him and his mom today, and as you can see behind you, it's so sad to see this little guy connected to all those machines.
Yeah, it was really hard to see him today, I will admit that. But he's finally back home. He just got back home 2 days ago after spending 4 months in the hospital. I can't even imagine. His mom now has to have medical equipment at his home, and it helps him around the clock. But what she's really hoping for is more research on this disease so other parents don't have to go through this.
Downward dog? Yes.
One day, 8-month-old Cooper went from crawling around everywhere
You got it.
and learning how to stand to barely being able to move.
He woke up from his nap and he just didn't seem to be moving well.
His mom rushed him to the hospital, and that's where they stayed for 4 months. He was diagnosed with a polio-like disease that has doctors scratching their heads.
The blue represents where there's been cases confirmed in 2018. Or interestingly enough, the gray represents where there have not been. We do know that it looks like polio. We do know when people are checked for polio, they don't have polio. We do believe that it's caused from a virus. We haven't identified which virus.
Cooper spent several weeks at a rehab facility in Texas where there are 24 confirmed cases of acute flaccid myalitis. Now he's back home, and instead of decorating for Christmas, his mom is making sure his medical equipment is working properly.
So that's how he gets his food, just through his tummy. This is where he sleeps at night because he's on the ventilator.
Luckily for Cooper, his mom is a pediatric nurse, but she says this is still the scariest thing she's ever been through.
It's hard to see other people's kids in this situation, but it's definitely harder when it's your own.
She says right now, their only hope is physical therapy.
Some people recover completely. Some people recover mostly. Some people have no recovery, and we don't know who gets what.
The disease is extremely rare, but researchers have noticed an uptick in cases for the last 4 years. Unfortunately, doctors haven't discovered a cure.
I think we'll probably figure out what causes it in the next few years, but we probably won't have a great treatment, unfortunately.
You don't get anywhere without the research, and you can't research until you get a good population of patients with it.
And Cooper is on his way to Maryland in January for even more rehab. So far in 2018, there have been 3 confirmed cases of this terrible disease here in Arizona.
And it's hard enough to see any kid who is in the hospital for so long, battling something so severe. And then when you see just an infant, a tiny baby going through all that, it really changes your perspective on things.
Yeah, it was really hard to watch him today. And I know he was totally comfortable and content, but you can only imagine what he's actually going through.
Been through a lot.
Hopefully he has a good prognosis.
Little fighter there. All right, thanks a lot, Kim.